Okay, so good day and welcome to the Mighty Assault series presentation. Today I continue on my 1000% leadership, and today we are going to talk about two kings, the story of two kings. And I believe that this story will enlighten us further on what leadership is all about. We can glean out very interesting, very powerful messages from this. And today I'm looking at biblical perspective. I'm taking this story from the Bible, not because of any bias or anything, just that that is a powerful story. Now, these two kings that I'm going to talk about, these are what is common between them. Number one, these two kings, they all had a dream. They all had a dream. Number two, both of them did not understand the dream. Very interesting. They all had a dream. And the second point is that they didn't understand the dream. The third point, they all sought to interpret the dream. They were interested in getting an interpretation for the dream. The other thing is that, fortunately, both of them got men, call them prophets, call them strategists, in today's language, call them seers, whatever you want to call them. But both of them had opportunities of solid, grounded men to interpret the dream for them. The other point is that, yes, the dreams were interpreted to them. Then, after the dream was interpreted to them, both of them had both good news and bad news in the dream. And I'm talking about King Pharaoh and King Nebuchadnezzar. If you read the accounts, this is what happened. They had a dream. The dream was interpreted by other men, and the interpretation gave them both good news and bad news. But at that point, that is where there's the point of departure. After the interpretation of the dreams, both men took different actions, and that is what I want us to focus our thinking on, because, you know, in this life, leaders are confronted with the same kind of problem. They all have dreams. They all have a future they want to reach. And sometimes they get people to explain or expand that dream for them. But what happens? Let's see what Nebuchadnezzar does. Immediately, Daniel interprets the dream that Nebuchadnezzar, your reign will not last forever. You are the head of gold. But very soon, another kingdom, the Medo-Persians, will overtake your kingdom. And then they themselves, their kingdom will not last, blah, 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 blah. You know that story. Now, when Nebuchadnezzar heard that story, what happened to him? He became paranoid. He became afraid that he is going to lose his reign. He didn't even think that he's mortal, he would die someday. Quickly, he set up strategies. Stupid strategies that he think will make him rule forever. He became paranoid, afraid. Quickly, say, there is a law, nobody should worship any other king. Make a statue of gold for me. I'm King Nebuchadnezzar. That's what he did about the dream. Sadly, the interpretation Daniel gave Nebuchadnezzar happened. One day, they were there. And the Medians and the Persians took over his kingdom. Destroyed the whole of Babylon. You know, Babylon was a very powerful, beautiful city. And Nebuchadnezzar could not imagine losing that kingdom by the interpretation of the dream. Now, what did he do? He built a statue of gold, because Daniel told him, you know, in his dream, the statue was gold, silver, bronze, and iron, representing different kingdoms. But he fooled himself to say that, no, I'm building a statue of gold. We will rule forever. He took no concrete steps. He didn't ask Daniel to help him. In fact, he put Daniel aside. The Daniel who had interpreted the dream for him, he did not give him any respect. He just put him aside and did what? He nearly even bent Daniel's friend, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, for them not bowing down to the idol. But let's see what Pharaoh did. Now, in Pharaoh's case, Joseph interprets the dream. And he tells them the good news is that there were 7 years of plenty and there were 7 years of difficulty. Pharaoh sat back and said, no, since you have interpreted the dream, I will let you. Please, what is the way out? Listen to what a leader does. A leader always seeks the way out from men of wisdom. Nebuchadnezzar never asked Daniel, Daniel, what is the way out? Daniel, what is the way out? He didn't do that. But Pharaoh, being wise, a wise leader, asked Joseph, what's the way out? And Joseph gave the way out. He said, look, let us put a strategy in. Let us put a scientific strategy in place. Don't let us be wishful thinkers. What we need to do is that we have to leverage on the 7 years of plenty, cultivate well, and store enough to meet the 7 years of difficulty. That is the difference between Nebuchadnezzar and Pharaoh. So we say Pharaoh became a great king, not because of anything. They both had a dream. But the difference is that one decided to find strategy to solve the problem. So he lived in the good times, and in the bad times he was prepared. Nebuchadnezzar lived in the good times but never prepared himself for the bad times, because he took the issues for granted. Pharaoh allowed Joseph to live his full vision within his vision. As a leader, your vision must be elastic enough. Your vision must be big. Pharaoh was the king of the world. So he saw that you, Joseph, when I make you a prime minister, nothing, I lose nothing. He shared his authority. He found a man who could explain strategy to him. He said, no, you, this man, I'll give you. He made him the governor and gave him full authority and powers to operate. That is what a true leader does. But when Egypt became great, nobody gave the credit to Joseph. Said, and Pharaoh became great, and his name moved around the world. So a smart leader looks for proper human resource who can interpret their vision and their dream better, allow them to be part of it, to ensure that it is rolled out. In fact, that is the critical interpretation of that biblical text that we read. That's the difference between Nebuchadnezzar and Pharaoh. Nebuchadnezzar lost his kingdom, but Pharaoh became great. All because he allowed other people to be part of his dream and his vision, to interpret it and to execute it. When he heard of the bad times, he was not afraid. Pharaoh was afraid. One, these are the differences that I want to share with you. One, you may have a dream. In life, the difficult times will come and the good times will come. When the good times come, it is the times of plenty. That is fair. But in times of adversity, you need to consider. What Pharaoh did was that he built himself and laid down strategies for the difficult times. And during the difficult times, they didn't fail it. They even became more powerful. Unlike Nebuchadnezzar, when he had the difficult times, he went into wishful thinking, no strategy, no human resource. He didn't build a pool of knowledge. He was just there thinking that somehow it will not happen. But always remember that nothing happens unless a man does something. If you do nothing, nothing will happen. So today we have learned a very basic and important lesson from these two kings as leaders, that when we have a dream, the next step from the dream is interpretation of the vision. The next is strategy for the good times and bad times. Now the next thing is that we should look to men for strategy to expand our vision, and we should allow others to live their vision within our vision. Thank you so much for being part of this discussion, the story of the two kings. I hope you learned something from it that can help in your organization as an individual, or even as a country or a church. So keep on listening to the Mightier Source series. I'll share my Telegram channel with you, and very soon our YouTube channel. And it was brought to you by Educational Clinics. Yes, keep hope alive and remain focused. Thank you.